just said, okay, fine. He smiled and said, you can go. I mean, look, the game is over. It's a joke. Now, looking at this, I haven't seen in 3+ years of Obama being in office what you were able to do, what you and Joseph Farah were able to do. And the desperateness of Esquire coming out and running a hoax saying you apologized, the book was a fraud, and it was recalled, and to try to bankrupt you guys, not just at your wholesale, but at retail. And I know there's that big lawsuit, and I want to ask you about that. But if he'll say stage riots in Kenya with his cousin because he didn't get elected, of course he'll stage riots here. And I see them trying to co-opt anger at Wall Street instead of going right at the heart, the big mega banking cartel that is the private Federal Reserve. So briefly speak to the difference between a Main Street bank or the thousands of stocks traded on Wall Street that are legitimate companies versus the insiders who do get the tens of trillions in our bailout money, who are always the same big Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, that I see financing the carbon taxes, financing the police state, financing the move to the governor's councils. I mean, if we're going to protest, quote, Wall Street, what do you see as an effective challenge to it? Then I want to get into the latest on the birth certificate and the new book that's coming out.
Well, first of all, I just want to emphasize that the birth certificate issue is not going away. And Obama knows that we've got him cornered. And in fact, we can prove that the birth certificate that was released is a forgery. And this investigation Sheriff Joe Arpaio is conducting in Maricopa County is a serious law enforcement investigation that the Obama people within the White House are worried about. They understand its implications. I mean, let's take a look at the full situation here. What you've got is Obama's realizing, and the Democratic Party is realizing, Obama cannot be reelected. They're not going to produce jobs. Unemployment. This is not a recession. This is what globalism looks like.
By the way, you and I were saying this a year ago that he might not. Now it's in the Washington Post, the New York Times. They're saying, don't run again. Don't run again. Please continue.
Well, Obama's one choice is don't run again and bring in Hillary and let Hillary come back and, the savior, let the Republicans compete against Hillary. And the Republicans know that's a scenario. They don't want to deal with it. It's why Boehner, the Congress, will not investigate the birth certificate. They don't want to see Obama go. They want to run against Obama. But Obama knows that he's going to be found out. He knows that fraud and felony have been committed here, and birth certificate information has been forged on Obama. We can prove it without any doubt. It's been admitted to.
Well, obviously, they would have just ignored your book and not had a big, giant national announcement. I mean, Correct. If your book was baloney, you wouldn't respond to it. Precisely. I mean, you have the President of the United States involved in an elaborate press conferences and releases and biggest story in the country, and then you get the thing, and it looks like my 8-year-old son made it.
Well, and take a look at where's the birth certificate book. It's got 125 exhibits in it. I've been researching Obama since 2006, and the White House knows very well that when I'm researching and investigating something, it's solid. You can look at the documentary evidence yourself. It's right in the book. Now, the choice Obama's going to have is pull out and let Hillary come in, and the Obama people are going to play out the chaos card. They're going to say, maybe we can cause enough chaos that, in fact, we can cancel the election. We can convince the American people it's not the time to transition power. And the White House is going to think about seriously having a national emergency or race riots or class riots, anything that can cause chaos.
So they're thinking about a Roosevelt-type move. They've got the super Congress in place. They've got the governor's council in place. And they're trial ballooning it everywhere.
And it's an administration that doesn't care about the Constitution. Constitution might as well have already been shredded as far as Obama's concerned. Obama knows he's not eligible to be president. His father was born in Kenya. He couldn't pass the same test that the Senate gave.
By the way, the father, as you know, and the uncle right now look nothing like him.
Well, and in fact, the Immigration and Naturalization Service, we have the papers now, said that if Obama Sr., the father, was going to use that he was married to an American citizen and had an American child as the reason to extend his stay, the INS was going to contest it because they didn't believe that Barack Obama Sr. was married to Ann Dunham. They couldn't find the marriage papers or certificate any more than I could find them, and they didn't believe this was his child. But to get back to the point, Obama knows what the truth is. Obama knows he's going to be found out. It's why Obama is acting so frightened within the White House.
Okay, well, then, listen, in closing, we only got 2 minutes left, and I appreciate your time, and I'm going to give you the floor. What is he going to do? What is the establishment going to do? And how did they think that they could put this fraud in? Or was Obama always the fake crisis? Is Obama himself the false flag?
Well, Obama is a false flag. Obama is the major point of my book, Where's the Birth Certificate, is we don't know who this guy is. And he has made the payoffs. Before Obama goes, just track all of this stimulus money. See how much of this green money has gone to Goldman Sachs, to Obama bundlers, and you'll realize pretty soon that all this green money is a sham, just like the climate exchange was a sham. But the Democrats ran it. Franklin Raines had the contract to bring into the federal home loan bank system.
Just pure looting.
Pure looting. They're going to take as much money as they can before they crash the system. They're going to benefit themselves. And this Warren Buffett nonsense about a tax on the rich is also just another subterfuge. Warren Buffett doesn't pay any taxes anywhere. They've got all kinds of foundations. He and Bill Gates, they say they gave their money away. They gave it to charities they control.
And their money's getting bigger. I've seen the statistics.
Right.
They only give them the profit on it to charity. It's the old tax-free foundation. So here's my question here. Will they get away with this? Because clearly they're behaving like they know that their time is short. And what type of tricks, because you've been accurate in the past, do you expect them to try to pull, and how do we stop them?
Well, I think the day of reckoning is coming close, because I think the evidence is going to be out very soon that Obama forged the birth certificate. And it's going to be very difficult to get past that one. You've got this Fast and Furious, you've got Cylinder and all the other scandals. They aren't going away. So the crises, I expect more chaos in the streets with this Wall Street gang of leftists. I expect race riots before we're done. I expect economic collapse of a nature we haven't seen since the Great Depression, and a move by Obama to cancel the election, which has already been tried in a trial balloon. But I don't think they're going to succeed, because I think the American people, through shows like you're doing, what we're doing in WND, bringing the truth to people, we published Where's the Birth Certificate, and made a birth certificate despite the White House trying to shut it down. And I don't think the White House is going to be able to evade the truth in the final analysis, but it's going to be bloody before it's done.
Well, his approval ratings show that, the lowest of any president ever at this point, and there's no way he can survive another year. So they're going to have to stage some crises, as Robert Shapiro wrote in the Washington Post. He also made similar comments in the Financial Times of London. They've got all these advisors saying we need an event to blame it on the Tea Party. I think that's their ace in the hole, amongst other things. And it's clear he's not acting like somebody who's being paid off or something. He's acting desperate. Clearly, he's being blackmailed. Even Glenn Beck 6 months ago had to admit that some of these big foundations are openly saying they are getting ready to frame the true conservative libertarian movement in this country for domestic events. Are you concerned about leftist stage terror?
Yes, that's a possibility. But what I'm really thinking is that, when Bill Clinton plays golf with Obama, making it clear life will be a lot better after the White House, and a big payoff is in store. They're going to cause chaos. You're going to see some of the greatest chaos we've seen in this country since the 1930s or the 1960s. That's coming down the road very soon. And Obama, if he does bow out, is going to bow out with a big payday. But the American people, I think, are finally seeing through this charade to understand it's a globalist staged event. We do not have to be in this economic crisis. And the powers that be, Goldman Sachs, I assure you, is going to emerge whole, even if all the other people who put their money in Wall Street are going to be taking a bath.
Sure, they're trying to have a huge power grab out of the crisis they've created, but is Michael Moore going too far, making $200 million over his career? Is all these other people calling for communism and re-education camps, trying to sell us that as the solution, more of the same poison? Is this going to backfire on them?
Well, I think it has backfired. I think the American people are catching on to the fact that it's a lie. I mean, look, 3 years into the Obama administration, he's still defending his birth certificate. We don't even know who this guy is. We don't know how many countries he's traveled in, what passports he's held, where he was really educated. There's a lot of questions about Obama we just don't know. When the American people realize the extent to which they've been lied to, I think it's going to be a reckoning that's going to shake the very foundations of the U.S. government. The American people are going to start. We're about to see the breakup of the United States government. You're going to see people using the 9th and 10th Amendments, states that are going to opt out. California told, go, you want Michael Moore, you want $35 billion of debt, you want all these expenses and left socialism. California is going to be told by states like Texas and Oklahoma and Montana, go it your own. We're at the verge of the breakup of the United States. And I see it solidly. Wow. And I'm planning to write a book about that early next year. It's going to be called 1776 Nation, the Once and Future USA.
Wow. Have you heard my term? It's 1776 worldwide.
Well, I think that's where we're headed. We're headed back to the American people, the Tea Party movement saying, we aren't going to do it anymore. We're pulling back to small government. I think we're at the closest points to a state right revolution we've been since the Civil War.
Well, Dr. Corsi, I've never heard you talk like this, and so much of what you've said in the past is really borne out to be very insightful. But you know what? Things have got to get bad before we realize what's valuable. I mean, it takes corruption to where you really start appreciating liberty and freedom again. And I agree with you. I travel the country, and I see how many people are awake across the political spectrum. The globalists have really miscalculated. But I read Robert Shapiro and others saying they need a new Oklahoma City or 9/11 to blame it on the Tea Party, you know, in public statements, and I really fear that. But I think if they do stage something, that we're going to get the word out and stop them. Thank you, Dr. Corsi.
Great to be with you, Alex. Thank you very much.
Wow, amazing. Well, that's it for InfoWars Nightly News. You know, the show's supposed to be 30 minutes. It's usually a couple hours now because of interviews like that. And, you know, I wish that was hyperbole. I wish that was hype. But Dr. Corsi, love him or hate him, he's the opposite of hype. He really has sound analysis, some of the best analysis I've seen out there. And I concur with his analysis. That's what history shows, and what currently is headed. And I'm telling you, everything we do right now is so vital in not just our present and not just our near future, but in long-term future for our children, our grandchildren, and others. The big mega banks are going to try to bring in communism as the solution to the crisis they created while they sit offshore and destroy their enemy, the middle class. They are trying to set up a red terror in this country. There's no doubt now that's the blueprint they're going with. We're going to defeat them. This is America. It's not China. It's not Russia. The sleeping giant is awakening. We're going to defeat the New World Order. Please subscribe and spread the word about the show if you believe in this type of information at PrisonPlanet.tv and InfoWarsNews.com. I'm Alex Jones signing off. I want to thank you, the viewers and subscribers, and the crew. Lord willing, we'll see you back here tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central. God bless you all.